Good evening, everyone. I am Tanushree, and with immense pleasure and gratitude, I would like to extend my warm welcome to all present here for the webinar on disruptive technologies of information technology on the behalf of DIGISAKSHAM. So, before proceeding with the webinar, let me take a brief moment for the introduction of my organization. DigiSaksham is an initiative of Sames Group, a global marketplace for learning and teaching online, where students are learning new skills and achieving their goals by motto learning for earning, of over 300 plus courses in multiple languages, which range from 4 hours to 6 months in various sectors of IT, BFSI, retail, and entrepreneurship for all age groups, from school children to youth, professionals to senior citizens, under expert supervisions. DigiSaksham has also conducted more than 150 webinars, 10 plus FDPS and workshops, 7 international conference, workshops, and seminar across the globe. So let us know about today's session. With the topic is disruptive technologies of information technology. A disruptive technology is one that displaces an established technology and shakes up with the industry, or a groundbreaking product that creates a completely new industry. So to guide us all through this, we have Mr. Riju Matthew. Mr. Riju Matthew is an assistant professor at Department of Information Technology, MPSTME, and MIMS University, Mumbai. He has rich university experience, industry experience in telecommunication, working in Orange France Telecom for 5 years prior to joining NMIMS. He is an Indian Book of Record holder for maximum research paper published in a year. He has been amongst the top 10% authors in SSRN. He is a reviewer in top 10 referred journals, including IAEE, Elsevier, and Springer. He has won several accolades and awards in college and national. So now, I would like to request all of you to please pay attention towards the instruction in order not to disturb the decorum of the webinar. I request all of you to please keep your mic mute. If it is important or you want to ask something, then write it down in the chat box. We will address them during the question answer session. So now, with a huge round of applause, please welcome Mr. Riju Matthew to take over the today's event. We would love to hear from you, sir. Please, sir.
So thanks to a very quick thanks to Tanu, as well as the organization Disruptive, as well as all the other coordinators and organizers. Of course, we have started a bit late. I hope we can just cover up and make up for the time. Of course, it's a very beautiful Saturday evening, and I am very sure that we can make the best out of it, and hopefully whatever contents that I've prepared for you all and whatever I'll be sharing with you all will be very useful for you, because whatever I've prepared is not from a research perspective, but it is from the perspective of anybody. So it can be a student, it can be a faculty, it can be anybody who is interested in IT. And so just I'll just briefly touch upon few things. So firstly, let me just highlight the topic itself. For example, if you see, I have shared my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen. So it clearly says disruptive technologies of IT. So IT, information technology, as we know, the current age is digital age. It's very important to understand the relevance of digitization. It's very important understand the relevance of IT. So we all know about IT. We have all started using IT. We all use IT day in and out. But when we say disruptive innovations, or when we say disruptive technologies, so what are the different disruptive technologies, and why I'm going to emphasize that? So I'll be going, step by step through each of the slides, and I'll be discussing as to why these technologies are so very important, or so very key, or why as a student or as a learner, or somebody who's going to join the industry, or somebody who's already in the industry, which technology should we focus on? How should we go about it? Where are the examples, or where can we see this technology being implemented? So that's exactly what my perspective would be. Okay, so let me just go through these slides. So I'll be covering it very short. I'll not go through the technical aspects. So I'll not be covering any technical aspects. I'll be giving more of the examples. The technical part, as I said, it requires a lot much dedication and time. So of course, we can do that separately. But just giving you a brief idea about it. Okay, so I'll just start by giving you a very short introduction as to how I am good enough to give you this information. So it's not that I have just taken this information from somewhere, but there are multiple sources from where I'm taking this information. So a bit about myself first, as to who am I, and then we'll go to the need for disruptive innovations, or why we are going for these particular innovations. So I'll be discussing broadly around 4 innovations. So firstly, let me give you an idea about who am I. Okay, so already as there is a briefing given or introduction given, but just to give a very short idea about who am I. So currently, I am, as I said, I am as was said, that I am working as assistant professor in the university. So I have been working since around 10 years right now. So major of my achievements is that one of the thing is that in a particular year, that's 2019, I was able to publish around 41 papers. The the interesting part here is that whenever such a huge number of papers are being discussed, many people think that it is just an individual who has published so many papers. But the interesting part here, which many of you all must not be aware of, that out of this 41 papers, almost 40 papers are not by myself, but with my students. So around 40 papers are coming from my students, which have which have worked, who have worked with me in that particular year. Since 2018, I am publishing papers. Right now, I have around 50 plus conference papers, 3-4 book chapters, journals, and all. So overall, if you see my research in terms of technology, started off in around 10 years back. I started after I completed my master's. So I am constantly, looking for innovations that are there. So as I said, the name disruptive innovation. So why I am interested in disruptive innovations, why I'm interested in IT as such. So this entire background and this entire concept, or whatever you can see on screen. So I'm not going to highlight it myself, but I just wanted to tell you that it is based on my passion and my interest for IT. So that's the background of myself. Now, coming to the question of disruptive innovation. So we all know that, of course, there is a lot of innovation going around, every new thing. For example, if I tell you anything in IT, for example, any topic I tell you, say machine learning, artificial intelligence, cloud computing. So almost every day we listen to new words. For example, when we talk about programming language, so earlier there was C, then C++, then Java, then Python. So you just name it and everything is innovation. So when we say, okay, a new language has come up or a new technology has come up, so of course everything is mostly related to innovation. But now we have to understand what is a disruptive innovation. So the first point that I wanted to make here is that there are sustainable innovations. So what is a sustainable innovation? Sustainable innovation is that if suppose I am already working in an industry and I am able to develop something which will continue whatever I'm doing. So maybe some kind of automation, some kind of optimization. So when whatever work I'm doing, I'm just able to optimize that work, or if I'm able to do some automation in that work. So that is called a sustainable innovation. Then if that is sustainable innovation, the question comes up is that what is disruptive innovation? When we say disruptive innovation, disruptive means, as we know, when we say disruptive, it gives us an idea that it's something very destructive. But what it means, so it's not a negative term. When we say disruptive, it means that it's in a positive way. So what do we mean by disruption? Disruption means that it is going to disrupt the way we think. It is going to disrupt the way we work on things. The entire, the change that has been brought in because of a particular innovation, or a bit because of particular technology. That is, this particular technology was not imagined by someone. Okay. For example, earlier we had wired technology. Later on, we have wireless technology. So if you look at the history of wireless technology, nobody believed that there could be signals, or signals could be sent via air, because the core that the signal, or you can say the communications, was the signal or the electricity can go only through wire. It can never go through air. So that was the concept of wireless to wire technology. So that's why I said that disruptive innovations are very, very important to understand from sustainable innovation. Now we all know the role of technology. So earlier, if you see, technology was just part of life, or sometimes we had a choice not to have that as part of life. But right now, as we know that technology has a much bigger role to play. For example, the electrical lines that are there. So electrical lines have changed. So earlier, the entire electrical system used to be, completely handled by electrical machine systems and all. But nowadays, if you see, it's completely to smart grid. Then we look at different technologies in terms of communication. So if you see, a lot of communication equipments have changed. So there are no hard wires, or there are no lot of wiring and all. So we have moved from traditional cables to optic fiber and all. So that's why if you see, the role of technology has kept on changing, and of course we have to adapt as per the technology's change. The third important point why disruptive technology is so very important is because of the demand and supply. So earlier, if you see that most of the people, those who are using technology, were mostly the developers, or you can say the hardware experts, or only a few set of people who are working in the IT domain or the technology domain. They were only considered, the people those who are using IT or technology. But right now, if you see any layman, look at any layman in any part of the world, we are all connected to technology. We are using technology in some way or the other. So it can be, just going online, searching for something, purchasing online. As we know, with respect to the pandemic situation that we faced, how much we are dependent on the technology right now, and how much technology has helped us. So the demand and supply. So if you see, suddenly during this pandemic, now all the classes went online. The entire education system became online. But since there was a demand. So since there was a demand, there was a supply for all the online platforms. So we know about Microsoft Teams, we know WebEx, we know about the Zoom platform, and so many platforms that came up just because of the demand. So demand versus supply is exactly which drives the disruptive innovations. And the very important point that we have to understand is that currently we are in a world which is borderless. So when we say borderless, it does not mean that we are not talking about physical borders, but what we are trying to say is that with changing time and changing demographics is basically the the amount of people, the different in different countries, different part of the world. So what is happening is that there's a complete change where we can see that sitting in India, we can look at things which are happening in different part of the world. We can collaborate with multiple people in different parts of the world. So we are not restricted to a particular borders, or in a particular time zone, or in a particular area. So with the disruptive innovations, what we are able to do is we are able to scale the boundaries. So mostly we call it as borderless technology. So now the disruptive innovations have allowed us to go for a borderless technology. And the last important point why disruptive innovations are much more in need, or why we are looking for disruptive technologies, basically now we know that in terms of hardware, in terms of software, in terms of development that is taking place. So every day some new technology comes in, but why that technology does not last for a very long time. So you must have seen that a company comes in, it brings a product, that product runs for some time, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, but after that 5 years the product is not lasting. Or after 10 years, you will not even hear about the products, or that particular company, the company must have shut down, or the product must have gone away. Now, why that happens is because that is part of sustainable innovation. That is for that particular period of time, or that particular short period of time, it worked. But later on, it will not work because it is not a changing innovation or disruptive innovation. So that is the reason why, if you see that the rapid pace of development, the changing demographics, the changing times, so what is required in a disruptive innovation, or what do we call a disruptive innovation, is something which has to be robust. Robust in the sense that it should not, sustain with time. For example, if I say that I have, say, developed a technology which works now, 10 years after that. So I say, now we are in 2022, and next is 2032, or maybe 2042. The technology should still be relevant, and this technology should still be working at the same level, or should be able to compete with other technologies. So that is why the rapid pace of development, being robust, as well as a long-term innovation, is called as disruptive innovation. So giving you the background, so I've given you a background of why disruptive innovations are very, very important. So as a student, as a learner, as a person who is in IT or interested in IT, the very important thing that I would suggest here is that you should always try to work. For example, a common question that most of the learners or students ask is that, which field should we go? I know everything about IT, or I'm a good programmer, or I'm good at design, or I'm good at architectures, or I'm good at communication skills. So which industry should I go, or which technology should I go for? So the answer is very clear. go for disruptive innovations. That is the technologies that are going to sustain for a long period of time. So which are those disruptive innovations? So we'll see around 4 of them. I'll give you the examples as well, and where is it being used, which industries it's been used, and some other examples also which you can look at. So it's not going to be a technical session as such, but more of an informative session. So first, disruptive innovation. So I'll give you a brief about this. So if you look at the traditional kind of systems, were that you have to, for example, if suppose I want to make a particular software do something. So I'm making the software do it, and then when the requirement changes, for example, the client says, no, I want to do something else. Say I'm doing A, then later on I'm doing B. So the requirement changes. So what I have to do is I have to keep changing the software. But now there is a disruptive innovation called as artificial intelligence. Now, why we say artificial intelligence is a disruptive innovation? Why is it a disruptive innovation and not just a sustainable innovation? Because you can see the baseline of artificial intelligence is that it is allowing us or helping us or making the systems more intelligent. That means the systems themselves can learn from the system. That is, the system can learn from itself. So we are just giving it inputs, we are just giving it the outputs, and we can make sure that the system learns. So the learning aspect, or making you can say the software, or making the system more human, or you can say making it more rational in technical sense. So when we say when we can make a system more rational, that means it is making we are able to make the system more intelligent. So that is basically the disruptive innovation one that I'm talking about. That is artificial intelligence. Now, why do you think that artificial intelligence is caught up? Basically because it is a disruptive innovation. It is not just sustainable, but for a long period of time, if you are able to build systems. So you can see that in earlier intelligent systems, only part of the system used to be intelligent, or part of the system used to be smart. But right now, if you see, almost all the devices, all the equipments, all the softwares that we currently have, they are all part of this artificial intelligence, or going towards gaining this automation and artificial intelligence concept, or trying to mature as a technology. So let me just give you some examples. You can see that. So we all use transport systems. We know about transport systems. We have, for example, if you have to travel from one place to another, we generally depend on different maps. We have to go to, say, a railway station, a bus station, or airport, look at the time and all. But now if you see with AI, what all things have changed. So if suppose we plan to travel to a particular place, we have the direction, we have the maps, we have the time that would be taken for the current status of the particular path that we are taking. For example, suppose I have to go from point A to B. So how much time it will take, whether I'm going via a vehicle, whether I'm going walking, or whether I'm going via cycle, or using any particular mode of transport. So all these details are automated and the system will learn. So if you see today, let us say based on the traffic conditions, I can see, okay, this is the current status. Maybe after half an hour, I can check, or if I want to. So if I have to go somewhere, this AI is helping me to decide on that. Second important application where we see AI coming in is carpooling. So we know about ride sharing, we know about carpooling, of course. So if people are traveling from point A to point B, and if I know that so many people are going to travel in the same direction, so what we can do is that this artificial intelligence helps us to pool these particular people together and reduce my cost. And as we know that the cost of oil and all is going up, so of course this plays a very, very important role in managing and balancing our budgets. Okay, next we know about autopilot. The most researched technology, or you can say the most researched about part and transport system, is the autopilot, or you can say the automotive cars, bikes, flight, all those things. So if you can see, autopilot is there from a very long time, but now you can see that there is a lot of research going on in automation of the entire system. So using AI, we are trying to automate the entire path. For example, if suppose I have to go from point A to B, so how much time it will take, what would be the path. So you must have heard of driverless cars, you must have heard of driverless bikes. So these are being tested out, and of course there are different companies doing that, and you can check out these two companies. So I have mentioned two examples as well. So Waymo is a very interesting company, and Preveg is an Indian-based company as well. Also, we know about ticket booking. So nowadays, as we all know, so there is an AI algorithm that runs in the background. So if there's a particular, say, let us say a flight where so many people are booking the tickets, and suddenly you can see that the price goes up. Or if you are trying to book a ticket in a train, and you can see that based on the amount of seats that are there, the ticket fares keep on changing, or who gets the ticket based on the point from where you are getting into the train or getting into the plane and all those things. So you can see that AI plays a very, very important role, and AI as a disruptive innovation is used very well in transport systems. Next, we come to banking and finance. Now, mostly if you see in traditional banks, what used to happen is that a person has to go to the bank, get all the details verified, get all the details checked, all the transactions that are there. So for example, you have to write 10 details the form, you have to cross sign the checks, you have to cross sign all the papers. So it used to take time for the payment to go from one bank to another bank, or when you're paying say international payments or all those things. But here, if you see with the AI, so AI, what has happened is that the digital payments has gone a long way, and now you can see that anybody sitting in any part of the world using digital payments can quickly transfer and can easily look at what is the transaction fee, which how you can transfer the money and all those things. So that has brought in a huge change in the digital payment industry, which we all know about. Second is fraud checks. So if you see that earlier, what used to happen is that for the fraud check and all, there was a lot of dependency on the security systems or the finance expert. We used to do a constant audit. So the audit is still there, but it's not that the audit have changed. But the important part being that there is a AI mechanism which learns and tracks the changes that are there. And in case of fraudulent transactions, or if there are any changes that have been made, for example, when there is a huge shift, or there is a huge change in a transaction, or there is some kind of anomaly, or some kind of what you can say, a change that is observed by the system. So the AI itself tracks it and is able to highlight those things. So this is something which is a disruptive innovation. Then we have credit scores. So now we all know that since many people want to go to banks, take loans, there are a lot of insurance companies. You want to take insurance, you want to take home loans, you want to take. So you see that you go to the bank and there is a lot of procedure as to background check, this, that, and all. But now with credit scores and credit ratings, and wherever you have, you're connected via a particular number, a PAN number, or a particular detail, which is linked to all the accounts and all those things. So your credit score itself is good enough for them to decide whether we should get. For example, suppose I'm a constant defaulter, I'm taking continuous loan, but I'm not paying on time. So that is seen in the credit scores, and this the system can learn and inform the bank that yes, this person is not is a constant defaulter, and there is a risk. Okay, there's a risk involved in giving this particular person a loan, or giving this particular corporate company a loan, and so on. And the fourth most important point is that the currently, as we have seen, the replacement of fiat money is basically the currency that we use. So every country uses their currency, that's called as a fiat money. But now you can see that transformation, that more and more countries have started to use the digital currency or the virtual money, trying to replace it, so that the dependency on the global payment system and all is reduced. So you must have heard this particular term, which is SWIFT. So you know about the recent happenings and whatever is going on between Russia and Ukraine, and there you must have heard this particular term called SWIFT, where the US was able to, or NATO was able to keep Russia out of the SWIFT, and the global payment system was blocking a particular country. So all these things are possible because of AI. So it's not just the digital system that are there, but because there is AI, because the tracking is possible, the system learns from this the already existing data and already systems. So that is going to help a lot. And this is a very, very important point. So that's with respect to banking and finance. Then coming back to social networks. So social networks, I'll give you a few examples. I think so most of you all know that. So musical notes. So we all know about singers, those who are interested in singing and musical notes. Nowadays, there are a lot of websites which take musical notes, and you can combine those notes. It's not a video editor or song editor, but you can play around with the notes, or you can make changes and all. So there is a website called as NewsNet. So if you go and check out, so you can So it is mostly AI based website which you can check out. Also, most of the AI algorithms are used in most of the social media websites like Instagram, FB, Snapchat, where you can decide how to filter, how to find friends, how to make groups, how to change the photos and all. And also the what you can say, because there is AI more being used nowadays, instead of text, people prefer more of emoticons or emojis that we know based on the different emotions that are there. So that's why we use emoticons more. And also for matchmaking and dating, there are AI based websites that are there. So you have there is a website called as betterhalf.ai. So that's a AI based website. Also there is another website which is AIMM, so you can check that out. So I'm just giving you examples so that you can go and see how AI is used in different fields, especially social media networks. Then with respect to online shopping, we know about so much of shopping that we do, be it a small item or a larger item. So the search has become very, very easy. So based on the past list or the past data that we have purchased or we have searched, so the AI algorithm works and gets the data working. So in all the different all the e-commerce websites, so be it Amazon, Flipkart, any e-commerce website, eBay, or any other website that you see. So all these are basically having the AI algorithm which tracks the search that you have. So once you go to a particular website, they track using the IP address and whatever you search on their website, so that they track and they're able to find out what which products or which items you're interested in. So that's basically the AI algorithm working in background. And based on the customization or the products that you buy, the AI algorithm is able to make recommendations for you. For example, suppose you have purchased bread, and so it will automatically ask you to purchase. So they will say that, okay, these people have also, those who have purchased this has also taken that. Okay, so actually it's not the people who have taken that, but the recommendation system or the AI does that. So recommendations that are made in that particular sense, the different offers that are made. For example, if you, I don't know how many people have observed this, but two people buying the same item get different offers or different discounts. For example, those who are loyal customers or being on a website for a very long time, they get more discounts or they get more offers. So that kind of things are done by AI. Then we have the payment transactions, which I already have told you. So everything has become automated. So once you have purchased a product online, any e-commerce website, there are multiple choices that you have. So you can either have cash on delivery, or you have the different types of payments. You can just scan it, use your UPI, or so you have different options. And the AI itself knows that you have preferred this last time. So maybe you can based on your whatever products that you're buying or the amount of products that you buy. For example, suppose you're buying less products, so that means you are having less cash or less money. But if you are buying more products, so the AI itself understands that your pay has gone up or your buying capacity has gone up. So based on that, the automation itself will give you recommendations. Also, if you see the AI based fitting, for example, in terms of clothes, in terms of products. So about, for example, earlier days we had the images. For example, if you like a particular kind of a dress or a shirt or something like that, so automatically it used to highlight, okay, and you can just put your image or face and you can see how it looks. But now with 3D modeling and different types of AI based systems, automatically you can check out and see how you look in that particular dress, or the competitive options that you have. For example, if you go to a particular website which has put up a particular dress, and you can look at the pricing there, but if you look at the other websites also, they will also give you a similar kind of same kind of dress with different options. So the optimum pricing algorithm works in the background, and you are able to get the same product. Maybe some may say 500, or some may say 600 or 700. So that 500 comes in one particular website, and you are able to pick the one which has the best pricing for that particular product. So these things are done by AI, which is there in the background. Similarly, ticket booking. So we know about, for example, you book movie tickets and all those things. So how frequently you're buying those tickets, or how you are, booking something online. So all these ticket booking algorithms in the background, they have the AI algorithms, and mostly they are focused on the recommendation systems. Finally, we come to the last part of the disruptive innovation one, that is AI. So mobile usage. So we all know about mobile usage, how much we use mobiles. And that is for us, obviously, we have moved from traditional mobile phones to smart personal assistants. So now we have So of course we have the Siri as well as Google and all Alexa and all those things. So we have smart personal assistant. So just we can talk and just tell whatever you want. So that is basically AI. So the AI based chatbots are available and AI based systems are available. So the mobile users, so the more and more people using the mobile are using these systems, and smart personal assistants basically track your or all your activities. Then there are translators as well. I don't know how many people use that, but if you are doing the transactions or doing any activities which involves multiple, for example, as we know, in India there are diverse languages that we have to speak. So if I want to translate something, so automatically there are translators. So earlier it used to be a very cumbersome or a very tough kind of thing, because if I want to communicate with a person who is outside India, so it becomes very difficult. But now with the translators, I can easily connect to anyone and just use a Google Translate or any other AI based translators to just, I'll be posting something and everything gets translated automatically, and anybody can see. So a person sitting in any corner of the world can post any message or just communicate with anybody else because of the AI based translators. Also, there is a new concept for those who are new researchers or early coders or all. There's something called as low code, no code. So you must have heard of natural language processing, but now if you see, there is something called as low code, no code. So what is low code, no code? So earlier what used to happen is that people used to continuously code, or there used to be a lot of demand for experts in coding. But now with low code, no code kind of programming in AI, now what happens is that you can just have a simple kind of code or less coding done, and you can still start your business, or still have you can make applications, mobile applications or systems. So that's the very, very new concepts. You can go online and search, and you have the other options within that as well. So if you can see in NLP, there is a multilingual option. So it's not that you have to develop your code in a particular language or a particular dialect or something like that. There is a multilingual option where you can develop your own code in your own language. Also, we have automation in chatbots, we have fake news detection. All these are AI based. So earlier, if you have to do a fake news detection, there were manual people who used to go and upload the news. They have to check online. So it used to be a manual work, but now with AI, automatically it checks out the entire news as well as the context of where it is coming from. So it's easier to find out. For example, if somebody posts an image that says that this is recently what has happened, but automatically the AI can track that, no, this was not the latest news, but this is some kind of news which was there long back, but we are able to find out. So these kind of things are there. And also we know about visual effects. We already know about holograms, which are very commonly used. And you will be surprised to know that from 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, we have crossed to 10-dimensional. So now if you look at, there are a lot of medical images and a lot of other images which have 10-dimensional. And the advantage of 10-dimensional is that we can look at the in-depth values and in-depth perspective. And there it's a lot of it's a very, very helpful thing if there's a 10-dimensional images or 10-dimensional pictures that are there. Okay, and finally we have healthcare. So healthcare, there are huge examples. So you can see how AI has changed healthcare. So I think so healthcare is a domain where AI is being constantly researched, because right now, since we are just coming out from the pandemic, and pandemic has given a huge boost to AI in healthcare. So early predictions, there are a lot of companies. So I've just listed few companies which are working in AI in healthcare. So there is a very top company called as Cambio, which is there. There is another company called as Prognos, which is based in US. Then there is another company called as Koala. Then there is Iflu. So you can see almost a lot of medical companies or companies who are working in healthcare industry, and they are focused on AI. So early prediction is one key point. So it can be any disease, especially there is a lot of demand for early predictions, especially in cancer and oncology. Then there is the second important area where AI works is about accurate diagnosis. So mostly if you see that most of the doctors, so it takes time. For example, you have a first opinion, then you go for second opinion, then getting to the right opinion and right diagnosis takes time sometimes if the case is too complicated. So for that, we have the AI based systems right now, which assist the doctors in accurate diagnosis. It helps to find out exactly what process to be followed or how to go about it. Also, We have AI-enabled assistants. I don't know how many people have seen that. So if you look at the last point also, that many companies are actually developing robots or bots for surgery. So you can see that there are bots, there are some robots for surgery to do the surgery procedure. Also, there are certain bots to actually do the functionality with the nurse in the operation theater. So there is a company called as Gesto Nurse as such, and you can see so many companies are there. So just you can have a look at the names that are there. So these are all into the healthcare industry and thus drug discovery. Of course, I wanted to name few of the companies, but almost all the major pharmaceutical companies in India and abroad are actually working on the AI-based drug discovery. So the advantage of AI in drug discovery is that we can test different drugs without manually going and checking on, doing the combinations. But AI helps you to give you the probability of which drugs could work, in which particular domain or for which particular kind of illness or ailments. So that has been very, very good. And that's why almost all the major pharma companies, so you can say from India or abroad, all are working on drug discovery. So these are few of the areas especially, and this is the first disruptive innovations. The next disruptive innovation that I want to highlight here is so the very important second important disruptive innovation is cloud technology. Now, as I said, the first disruptive innovation, which obviously everybody should work on or should try enhancing their knowledge, is artificial intelligence. The second one, which I want to highlight, is cloud technology. Now, cloud has been, so many people argue that cloud has been there since a very long time. Yes, it's there since a very long time, but cloud technology as such has been, very few companies or very few people have, started working in that. Of course, we know about, companies like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and all, but still, where is this cloud being useful, or can this cloud technology sustain for a long period of time? So for that, if you look at the examples, you'll be able to see that. So where the cloud technology is being used. So let's look at few of the examples in different areas as such. So firstly, if you see social media networks, we all know we are all very happy with social search engines. So the first thing that we do is that if you want to find a name, or if you find, say, anything that we want, is we go for Google. Or there are other search engines also. So we have Vicogo. Vicogo is also very common. And also with cloud, we have online streaming services. So I don't have to tell about online streaming services. There is Netflix and all those things. So the entire concept of, getting a DVD, or, getting some movies from abroad, or getting a movie that is recently being released, download it and, put it in your storage. If you have limited storage, then you have to remove the old movies and all. But now nothing is required. Everything is there online. Everything is there on the cloud. You have online streaming services. Just look at the which genre you want to see, which movie you want to see. Right from the very old movies till the current movies, everything can be done using cloud technology, and that's the beauty of cloud. So online streaming services at your in real time, you can get it. Now, the third important thing with respect to social media networks, we all know about, whenever we travel to some place or we have a lot of memories, so we store all the data. So whatever we store, so we require a lot of storage, we require a lot of bandwidth. So whenever, for example, if I want to, constantly work on say a remote project, which is say US based, I have to constantly connect to the internet. I have to constantly, do the processing and all. But here, what is the advantage here? With cloud, we have unlimited processing, we have unlimited storage, and unlimited bandwidth. So any company or anybody who wants to use the cloud for storing their memories, or those who want to, work on say dual processors or octa processors or hexa processors, also they can do it online. So everything is available online. The fourth important point with respect to social media networks is digital marketing. We know about different digital marketing options that we have. So there are different websites that you can check. So you have Maropost, there is HubSpot, there is Creatio, there is Adobe Marketing. So there are a lot of companies who are into digital marketing, which use the cloud technology at their advantage. The next part that I want to emphasize is that now, as a, for example, if you are an entrepreneur or a fresher, you can start your own company. You can start building your own company. How? Because if you see, whether you are starting a small company or whether you want to have a small startup, you can start it on cloud. You don't require any capex. You can just build it on cloud. So zero capex, only operating expenditure. So based on what maintenance or what operations you have on a day-to-day basis, you can start the business. And nowadays that you can see from all the most of the startups that you can see, almost all are digital businesses. What is digital business? Earlier, what used to happen is that you require an office, you have a brick and mortar building, you have to have a space and all those things. But now you just have a digital business. You can have employees working remotely online from any place in any part of the world. So on-demand services are available on the cloud where you can just connect to users. You can connect to your, so your employees are also online, your users are also online. So that is because of the cloud technology. Also, if you see, there is earlier what used to happen is that every company had a huge or a big task in backing up their data. So whatever data that you have to constantly back up. So there is DVD backup, there is magnetic tape backup. So continuously you are looking for different backup option. But now, as we know, the cloud has a backup option. So whatever you're going to work, automatically it gets saved, and that backup you can keep it for a huge amount of time. Of course, when you are keeping for a longer period, you have to pay more. That is there, but payment other than that, but you still have a choice to back up your thing. Also, the security enhancements with cloud has gone up manifold. So you, for example, earlier what used to happen is that a smaller business does not or cannot afford a very high security. But now with cloud security services, we can afford that service online. So you can just rely on a cloud security service, security as a service, and then you can get the options. Also, you can see remote consulting. Nowadays, you can see a lot of, if you go online and check for jobs, there are a lot of remote consulting jobs. Okay, virtual jobs, remote consulting jobs, because it is ubiquitous. Ubiquitous, any part of the world, from anywhere, you can just access any cloud servers, connect to the users, connect to the employees, get that work done. Even small jobs can be done. Even the complex jobs can be done online. So remote consulting, ubiquitous. Client meetings, anytime, anywhere. As I said, borderless world because of cloud. Then we have vendor neutral. Vendor neutral means earlier what used to happen is that if you are purchasing a software, or if you're purchasing a hardware, or if you're linking a software or a hardware, so what happens is that it is limited to a particular company. So for example, you may look at only products from say IBM, or you are looking at only products from Microsoft. But now with cloud, what you have is that you have different choices. You have literally vendor neutral cloud services. So today, suppose I'm using say Google Cloud, I can migrate my entire business right from Google to Microsoft, or to any other services, or to any other service providers, without cloud service providers, without making much of a difference. My structure will remain same. I just have to move from one service provider to another service provider. So that is the advantage with cloud. Also, if you see, there is something called as Microsoft Power BI. So it helps you a lot with analytics. So if you look at a lot of startups and a lot of big business also, so you have your own system, so you have your entire system, but you want to do data analytics about your customers, about your employees, about your products, about your profits, everything you want to do. So there is Power BI available. So Power BI is a very, very important tool. So that you can integrate with your systems, and you can get a lot of data analytics, which you can incorporate with your cloud services or with your systems anywhere. So these are a few of the very important examples for cloud technology as a disruptive innovation. Next, two very important domains. So one is education domain. I think so most of you all are students, or most people are aware of this. So nowadays, since the pandemic has started, there's a huge demand for online streaming services. You can teach online, you can learn online. So irrespective of whether the teacher is in US or the teacher is in India, or a local teacher, you can still connect to that teacher. You can learn from that teacher one-to-one, or you can have a group learning, or you have so many online services which help you learn. Then there is check Slide Rocket. Slide Rocket is very interesting with respect to presentations. So if you want to upload presentations, you want to work or collaborate in presentations, so that is possible with Slide Rocket. So do check out that website. Also, we all know about Zoom, MS Teams, WebEx, so I don't have to discuss that. Almost all the top companies in cloud are working on education because education is something which is there for a long period of time. It will never stop. So that is why you can see Google, Amazon Web Services, IBM, Microsoft, all are working in that particular domain. And finally, we have healthcare. Healthcare, of course, if you look at cloud, so one of the important advantage that we have with cloud, especially in healthcare domain, is the real-time treatment. So earlier what used to happen is that if you are in a particular part of the world, or if you are in a particular area, you have to come to the city, or you have to come to a particular location to get the treatment. But now we have telemedicine, we have digital health records. So all these important points are basically useful, because all the data of the patients are there digitally recorded in the cloud. So if a doctor wants to just check out, okay, so what is his past history, what are the test results currently, what was the allergies that this particular person has, all these things are recorded. And tomorrow, if suppose there is an operation or something serious that happens, so nowadays we have stem cells being stored, and that can be used for uh, getting the person back to normal. So a lot of advantage that we have because of cloud and these technologies. Of course, in the end, what I've mentioned is that I've mentioned few companies which I would want you to check out. So there is a company called as Clear Data. Then Dell is a very popular company which is having Dell's Healthcare Secure Cloud, and of course IBM Cloud for Healthcare you can check out. So these are few of the companies who are working in healthcare sector using cloud. So definitely go through these examples. Then coming to the third disruptive innovation. So quickly going to the third disruptive innovation. So first disruptive innovation was AI, artificial intelligence. Second disruptive innovation that I discussed was cloud technology. Third disruptive innovation from the name itself. So I hope everybody can guess that what I'm talking about is big data. Now, why this is so very important? That means why should I study on big data, or why big data is going to be there in the future? Because if you see, big data is there everywhere in all industries. So I'll just highlight few of the industries, and you can just check out these companies. I'll be sharing this with you all. You can just check out. And also in the healthcare industry. In the healthcare industry, if you see, constantly new diseases are coming up, new problems are coming up, and there is constant research that is going on. There are these two companies that I've put up as example: Flatron Health, Tempus. These are working in disease research. Then early disease detection, which I've already discussed in AI. So AI-based companies. So these are working on AI as well as big data. So they are collecting data from multiple. So digital data, as I said, electronic health records. So they are collecting data from almost all the patients everywhere and just collating the data and trying to find out, can we detect the disease early. So there are these companies like Pieces, Para Health, Prognos, which are working on AI as well as big data. Then of course, improving population health. So there are certain agencies who are working to improve the population health. So for example, a particular population has a certain kind of genetic disease. So they are trying to see if we are able to overcome that disease. Can you make some changes in your food habits or different habits? So these kind of things are done by these companies like Amitech Solutions and all. Then there is enhancing R&D in pharma. So basically you can see that most of these big data companies like Hortonworks, Plexus, so these are working of R&Ds to change the way in which the data analysis is done or big data is used for in the healthcare industry. And of course there are mitigating risk and all those things. So that is more related to the healthcare industry, especially with respect to education, where big data comes into the picture. So nowadays there is something called as Gradebook Pro, basically that is more into grading the students. And so you can check out these apps. Then there are certain apps where the student attention, if it goes out, so you can check that. So you can check this one. Of course, everybody must have heard of Grammarly, Civitas Learning and all, where there are writing services, checking for plagiarism, checking for grammar and all those things. And also there are other big data tools that are available for recruitments, placements, admissions, examinations. So almost everything that is covered with respect to a student life cycle as such. Then we have banking. So banking is one important sector where big data is used. Majorly, it is a customer-centric banking applications nowadays. So we have big data analysis, we have enhanced fraud detection, then we have superior risk assessment, as I said, getting credit scores, who will pay back, who will not pay back, all those risk profiles and all. And we have real-time management. So as I said, nowadays we don't have to actually go to the bank. We have digital banks where we can do all the banking applications at the safety, with the security, with the trust, with the transparency. Almost everything is taken care of because of the big data and the AI that is there. And finally, we have retail. So retail, as I already said, that we have a huge market. And so almost everything, big data analysis is very, very popular. You can check the customer-centric customer analytics 360-degree view, basically right from customer buying a product to using the product to changing, and what are the market stats based on the different demographics or type of customers and all. So there are multiple companies who are working. So you can check this Aldo, Kidless Group and all those things. But there is forecasting also, that who can be your customer, which domains will this product work and all those things. So that is by this particular company called as, you can check all these things. Then localized logistics. So basically what happens is that if you are importing different products and your dependency on some foreign products, or foreign manufacturers. So to avoid that, there are some companies who are working to get a localized logistics so that you can get the same product very close to you, so that you don't have to look out for that. There are optimized pricing. So of course, as I said, one of the major things that we want is to have a cheaper or you can say optimum pricing, that is at a very low cost I can get the best product as such. And of course, streamline services and tracking with respect to, for example, if I'm purchasing a product, right from I make a payment from the time they give me the time that, okay, within 1 day, 24 hours, 48 hours, the product will be delivered. So I can see the real stats as to where the product is, whether it is going to the warehouse, whether it is coming up from the warehouse, whether it is shipped, ported, all those things. So all these real-time tracking and streamlining of services is being done by multiple tools that are available. So you can see the check office depot Europe, this one. Okay, now coming to the last disruptive innovation before we end this. So this is something which you can see that I have not, I've done a lot of work, but as I said, I wanted you to do something as well. So I've discussed disruptive innovation 1, that is artificial intelligence, disruptive innovation 2, that is cloud technologies. Third was the big data. And the fourth disruptive innovation that would be there for a long period of time, which has just started. It's not a very old technology, something which has started right now. It is about blockchain technology. So the fourth disruptive innovation that you should work on or you should study more on is blockchain technology. So what is the uniqueness of blockchain technology is that it converts the centralized systems to decentralized systems. So any kind of centralized system that you see where you feel that this should be a decentralized system, for example, if it's a company or if it's a service or if it's a product which you feel that it's currently centralized, but it can work in a better way if it is decentralized, there you can apply blockchain. So that is exactly what the blockchain does. It converts the centralized system to decentralized systems. And what are the main key points? That is why we say that blockchain technology is a disruptive innovation. As I said, there are a few key points that we need to understand. For example, blockchain brings about security. Now, why I say security? Because blockchain is between the peers, that is the one who is the sender and from the one who is the receiver. In between, people cannot change, or in between people cannot manipulate that. So that's why the security is very huge. Secondly is transparent. So if suppose you are working on a industry where you want to bring in transparency, or you want to make a service which is to be transparent, the blockchain is the ideal solution where you can pitch in. Also with respect to privacy, as I said, it is between the sender and the receiver. Others need not see what is there or what has been sent at all. So it ensures 100% privacy. Also, if you want to look at the risk, for example, if you want to reduce a risk in a particular product, or if you want to reduce the risk on a particular service or a particular industry, what you can do is you can go for blockchain technology. Also, with digital transactions, as we know that we are having a lot of digital transactions, with the implementation of blockchain technology or addition of blockchain technology, the cost has lowered out. Of course, blockchain technology itself is having a lot of cost factors and power factors and all those things. But broadly, if more and more people start using blockchain, so then it's possible that we can reduce the cost of transactions and digital transactions and so on. So if you see, these are the main points why I need or why I say that the blockchain is a disruptive innovation. Now I'll give you a few examples very quickly on finance. So finance is the very common area which you must have seen where blockchain is constantly used. So we know about digital currencies, we know about Bitcoin, Ethereum, cryptos, all those things. There is also non-fungible tokens, where earlier what you have is you have a product, you want to sell the product, you have to go to the market, sell it off. But now we have NFTs. So NFTs have their own world, own space where you can sell those NFTs. You can purchase NFTs. It can be any product online. You can just buy it and sell it online without even going and getting it. You must have heard of metaverse, multiverse, metaverse. It's a different world or a virtual world where it is there. All these is basically part of blockchain technology or allows blockchain to really work well. And of course, the last part is decentralized finance. As I said that earlier, everything was centralized, like a bank, like a central agency which controls the transactions and all. But now we can see that the world is slowly moving to a decentralized kind of finance, where you can say the control is with the consumers or with the people, not with the centralized agencies, because the central agencies completely control the money right now. But slowly over a period of time, this will start moving out of the central agencies to the people. So it will be completely controlled by the people. And at the long run, that will be the advantage for the people as a whole. So that is where the blockchain comes in finance. And so one very important thing which I would suggest to everyone is that to read this technology more, start reading this technology more. As I said, these four disruptive innovations, of course, going to work for a very long period of time. First is artificial intelligence. Definitely start working on that, start reading about that. Then second, I said was about cloud technology. Again, a very important disruptive innovation. Third one, which is the big data. So it can be from an analytics perspective or from the big data perspective. And the fourth very important one, which is just gaining mileage right now, and over a long period of time, it will sustain and be one of the very top disruptive innovations, that is blockchain technology. So these are the four disruptive innovations and disruptive technologies which you have to work upon. So before I just end and just conclude that, I just want to give you a very, very interesting slide. So whether it's a student or anybody who is watching me here, so you can note these websites. So these are the websites which give you live data. So for example, if you want to check some internet live stats, for example, you want to see how many Facebook users are there, how many Instagram posts are there, how many Twitter posts have been done, you can go to this website, internetlivestats.com. Or if you want to check out the current cyber attacks, this is the website, digitalattackmap.com. So you can go there and check that out. If you want to watch or have a look at the world markets, any markets, live share markets, you can go to edelweiss.in/markets. You can check it out, trade in the that particular market directly live. So it is live, real time. Okay. And also for all the students and those who are learners, especially those who want to do any free courses from IBM. So this is a website from IBM where you can learn the free courses, you can get the certifications. It is called as cognitiveclass.ai, and all the courses that are available, all the technologies and other technologies also that are available. So you can go and check it out. If you want to check out some AI related content, so there is a company called as Pelterion.com. So you can go there and check this out. So these are a few of the websites which I would want you to go and check out. Of course, there is a lot more, but I think so. Since we have short of time, so we can go there, and I'll of course want you to go through all these websites and whatever disruptive innovation technologies that I've discussed. So do check that out. Do start learning and working on that. So I think so I've almost taken up all the time. So I'll stop right now. So thanks a lot for listening, for all those who have listened to my entire webinar and whatever slides that I've shared. So thanks a lot for patiently listening. Thanks to the organizers as well. So in case you have any questions, I would like to take the questions. And before I stop, I just wanted to put in my email ID, which you can connect to me as well. And I've also put in my LinkedIn ID, so where you can connect to me via LinkedIn also. So we can connect to one-to-one as well. So thanks a lot to all the organizers as well as Vandana, Tanu, and all the others who are there, and all the listeners as such. So thanks to all. So in case of questions, you can just post it out or let me know. So I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, so you are comfortable right now to answer some questions of the students, participants?
Yeah, so I have two choices. So right now I'm not sure, but if I can get the list of questions, I can answer them, because I can see there are a lot more questions that are there. So I can type out those questions and put it back in chat, or whichever way they are convenient. So I can do that. So right now I think so, since there are a lot of queries that are coming up, so yeah, it will not be possible for me to answer all of them one to one.
Okay.
Because because I think so I can see almost 100 participants are there, and literally more than 40-50 queries. So to speak one to one, because others will be waiting in line, so I don't want to make others wait just for the answering those queries. But I'll definitely love to answer each and every query. I'll be definitely giving the answers to everyone. Okay,
so I'll ask every participants, if they have any query, please write it down in the chat box, or if you don't have, so we move forward to the ending.
Sure. So please put it in the chat, or you can connect to me directly, or connect it to Digisaksham. So obviously I'll be answering to all the queries.
So I think if anyone have any query, please write it down in the chat box. So we'll clear your thoughts. So I think we should proceed further. Yeah, there's a question, sir. So will automation reduce jobs in future like GPT-3, DAL, e-text to image generator? What impact will it have on design and art industry?
Uh, yeah, as I said, I'll answer all the queries. I think so because if I just tell all the time, see, AI and of course all technologies. Generally, when a technology comes in, it will eat up jobs. But very important is that if you are skilled in your technology or if you are learning advanced level technology, your job will still remain. If you are going to do a desk job or a job which requires very little skills, then it will definitely be taken up by some bot someday or the other. So maybe 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. So irrespective of which, so whatever you learn, please make sure that you are learning. That's why I said we have to focus on disruptive innovations. So don't just focus on any technology or any skill sets. Focus on disruptive innovations or technology which will last for more than 10 years.
Thank you, sir. Any other queries?
So you can post the queries. I think so. There are a lot many queries, so I'll not be able to answer all of them.
Okay. Okay,
So
so
you can take that in chat, and then later on maybe I can definitely answer. I'll be answering all the queries that is there with respect to the content that I put up and any other general queries related to IT. I'll surely answer them.
okay, sir. So I think we should proceed further. So yeah, these all were the questions by participants. Before we move on to the end of the webinar, there's today anything else you want to say to, and any blessing, any other advice to our lovely participants?
Yeah. So the only thing is that, as I said, that irrespective of which country where you're working on, please focus on disruptive innovations. Please learn, skill yourself with technologies that will last forever. Please do not focus on learning skills which will only last for few months or few years. So that's why I said that focus on disruptive innovations, learn that. And of course, as I said, do put in your queries. You can connect me via email or connect me via LinkedIn or Digisaksham, anywhere you can connect. Please connect if you have queries, and I'll be happy to answer whatever queries you are related to IT.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us your precious time and for capturing the event so perfectly. We are sincere and grateful for you to be the part of our event and also be the speaker of the webinar. That thank you for guiding us. And the last but not the least, I thank everyone who are present today in the webinar. We care for your opinions, so complete a short pull-in feedback form. The feedback form is in the chat box. I guess everyone were filling up it right. So kindly fill the feedback form provided to you within 24 hours. And remember, don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel, DIGISAKSHAM, and it has a screenshot for the same in feedback form as a proof. Also tag us on Instagram like hashtag DIGISAKSHAM in your story. You will get your e-certificates within 15 days. So before ending this, let's take a happy snap. I request everyone to please open up your camera. So I will take a snap of you all, guys. Open up your camera, guys. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you being here in the webinar. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, guys.